My name is Jasmine Blaylock, and this is my story. Mm. Wait, did I do it? Yeah. My name is Jasmine Blaylock, and this is my story.
All right, Jasmine. So, can you share your journey to becoming a hairstylist? What inspired you to actually pursue this career?
So, the thing that made me actually go into this field is I remember coming out of college thinking, I don't know what in the world I'm going to do with my life. I had such a great time in college. I had friends, I had community. And when I came home, I had none of that anymore. I was so lonely. I was depressed. I started working jobs that were like hours away.
Mm.
And I said, Lord, if I have to work, if I have to do something for the rest of my life, I need it to be something that I love.
Wow.
And so I remember one day just sitting at my desk at work, crying to God, listening to worship music. And I said, I can't do this anymore. That very day, I went and signed up for beauty school. I quit my job. I got accepted. Doors for financial aid opened for me. And I never looked back since. It's the truth.
Wow, that's honestly that's crazy and very admirable of you to actually leave where you were to explore something new. So my next question is, what challenges have you faced while building your career as a hairstylist, and providing emotional support to your clients too?
Wow, I think that's such an important question because I think I faced so many challenges to the point of wanting to give up. And I believe that's something that taught me that what I am doing is actually something great that the world needs
Mm.
because every step of the way I was fought.
Mm.
And I would get discouraged. I would feel like I'm not enough. Why would people come to me when there's so many other stylists that they can go to? Just a lot of different negativity filled my head. And even though I knew I was good, I still had that place in me that just didn't feel like I was good enough.
Mm.
And so I think a lot of the challenges I faced were mental battles, but not just that, having a gift, especially one that God gave me, it put me in rooms which I didn't qualify for. And other people around me were looking like this young girl just came in, like, how did she get to this place? So it wasn't just me, it was other people around me fighting me too,
Mm.
because they didn't even realize that this was a gift that I had that literally was just given to me. I didn't even know I had this gift. That's the truth. I didn't
Mm.
know. And so when I was in beauty school, it was to the point where I was even doing my teacher's hair. My teachers were coming to me, can you do my hair?
Mm.
The students would ask me, can you show me how to do this? Can you teach me? And I'm like, what do I know? I'm just me. But I think it shows that I thought so little of myself and I didn't
Wow.
understand, the gift that was really given to me.
Wow, that's
So
amazing. So I hear you talking about gifts. So how did you discover your passion for actually like the gifts of encouragement, uplifting your clients during their hair appointments? Yes, you do hair, but you're twofold. You're not just a hairstylist. You do other things. So can you just expound a little bit on that?
most definitely. So I think for me, and I light up because hair is something that I use that just reaches people. It gets them to actually come in. But what they really get once they're here is a whole nother level. I've experienced women receive just breakthrough and healing just from sitting in the chair, having conversations with me, learning new knowledge, and just sharing their stories. And that alone has fueled me to
Mm.
keep going. Even when I want to quit and when I give up, I think about the women, and even they're always in my inbox writing me. And it's like, there's always this demand. The Bible talks about how creation is waiting on us. And
Mm.
I always get that every time I try to stop and people keep coming to me. It's like they're needing you. It's something in them saying, I need what you have.
Mm.
And so stuff like that, it keeps me going. Hair is something that I can do in my sleep at this point. So the real gift that people get is what's in me. And that's the gift of encouragement. So before they leave my chair, if they came in sad, if they came in upset, if they came in, I love when I could help to shift their mindset or to change the way they just see life in
Wow.
general.
Yeah.
And that's where my real fulfillment comes in this industry.
That's beautiful. Because the next question I want to ask you is, because you just shared all these beautiful experiences, but we want to go in, dive a little deeper. So, can you describe a specific instance when you spoke life into a client and how that affected them?
That's a great question. And right now, it's like so many moments running through my head. But one story that I do want to share is there was a mom, and I wasn't really that close to her. So her coming to get her hair done was, my way of getting to know her.
Mm.
And so it's like as she sat in my chair and she just started opening up so much. I feel like, I kind of created an atmosphere and environment where people feel comfortable enough to share who they are and the things that they've gone through. And so she began to tell me her story of, things that are happening in her family generationally. And one of them happened to be like molestation. And it happened to her. And so when she released that, she didn't started to go and tell me how it's even now jumped into her daughter, and her daughter experienced the same thing. And it was so powerful to me because I think about the things in my family that, keep happening generationally
Mm.
and keep going forward. But in that moment, she cried tears of release. I can tell it's something that's been burdening her.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to release that in that moment. And I was able to encourage her and uplift her and let her know she was a great mom, and that the only way to actually change this is by doing something different,
Mm.
changing the generation, shifting it. And I will never forget that conversation because, for one, I was honored that she opened up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it makes me always reflect back to me and my family.
Yeah.
So my clients, they actually helped me so much.
Yeah. That's really good. So speaking of which, because I heard you mention like the atmosphere, the environment. So how do you create a safe and welcoming environment for your clients to share their thoughts and story? Because people are not usually just vulnerable, just ready to spill. So how do you feel like you create that environment?
So I honestly think that me just simply showing interest in them as a person, I think that opens up a door. For one, I'm giving them a service. So already they're trusting me to touch their head,
Mm.
which my father, my spiritual father, always teaches us your head is your portal. So you definitely have to be careful who touches your head.
Mm.
So the fact that they even trust these hands to touch their head, it's already showing there's a level of trust that's already established right there.
Mm.
But then on top of that, me asking them, "How are you today?" Like I love to ask questions and kind of interview my clients so I know who they are. It's nothing like just having a stranger do your hair. You want to make that connection with them so you feel comfortable and at ease. Like,
Mm.
I can trust this person. So for me, creating that environment and showing interest in who they are,
Yeah.
I think that alone changes their perspective. And even the way I treat them. Do you want water? Whatever, little things like that. People
Mm.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's really good. I heard you mention earlier about topics such as rape and molestation. So how do you approach sensitive topics that may arise during your appointment?
So me, I feel like people, they just start telling me. It's nothing that I say, "Oh, I want you to tell me about your deepest, darkest secret." No. It's the atmosphere, the environment that's set. It's like people naturally begin to pour whatever is in their heart, whatever is bothering them or troubling them. They begin to share that with me. And from that is like I'm able to see them where they are and try to bring them up higher,
Mm.
encouraging them, lifting them up.
Mm.
That's what I love to do for them. So, especially if it's a sensitive matter, it doesn't leave my chair, it doesn't leave that room. um, is something that I literally have to just pray about.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I believe that as soon as they sit in my chair, God is listening to them. I stand on that.
That's deep. That's actually really deep. So, out of curiosity, what feedback have you received from your clients about their experience with you, both with hairstyling and with emotional support?
That's deep. So obviously we can start with the physical stuff. So my clients, they really love their hair. That's what keeps them coming back. I think it's my ability to pay attention to detail. Yes, I could be having a whole conversation with you the whole entire time. Yet I'm making sure your hair is neat and detailed. And that's what I'm saying, second nature. It's in my character to pay attention to the small things, the details. Um, and so my clients always text me, they love it. They get so many compliments. And of course, you like, that makes you feel good about the work that you do, especially because I actually care about how my work looks. Now, when it comes to the emotional support, Man, I think that's something that really keeps them coming back to because they
Mm,
establish that connection with you.
absolutely.
And they're like, I have so many clients that tell me, I don't want anybody else to touch my hair. I don't want to go to any other stylist.
Mm,
That's what they'll say. And I count on the honor and the privilege, but I come to realize that it's because of the trust and the bond that we've built.
yeah.
It goes beyond a hairstyle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really deep. So, going back to like your personal growth. So, how has your work as a hairstylist influenced your own personal growth and your perspective on life?
That's a deep question. So to me, hair and clientele and being in this industry, it's like God is literally showing me myself.
Mm,
And sometimes it's like I can't fully see me. So he'll use these people and put them in my chair and they'll start saying things. But I'm realizing that God is speaking to me even in that moment
mm,
about me
mm,
and even the process that I'm going through. So let's say I'll have a client, let's say I'm dealing with something. It's crazy how I'll have a client who's dealing with that very same thing or something similar, or they've been through it. So then I'll begin to speak to them and they're giving me wisdom, they're uplifting and encouraging me. And I'm like, God, you're so funny. Because today I was feeling down, but then you sent this client here today and they told me their story and it was
mm,
exactly what I needed to hear. So as
mm,
much as I'm giving to people, that is the place where I'm also receiving. And I think that's what's so powerful about it. It's an exchange. It's not just one sided. And even if there's clients that, they can't necessarily give me life advice or wisdom, whatever it is, it's like them being able to receive what I have to give them,
mm,
it helps me. It
mm.
gives me a sense of fulfillment. Um, so yeah, it keeps me going.
That's beautiful. So, speaking of helping someone, right? What advice would you give to someone who wants to combine a creative profession with a desire to uplift others?
Mm. I would say let it be naturally who you are.
Mm,
So let it speak to you first. That encouragement, that uplifting, all of that stuff, it has to happen in you first.
right.
And then it'll just become who you are. It'll be who you are. So you can't help but enter a room and encourage. You can't help but have clients and lift them to the next level in life because it's already in you. Those seeds are already planted in you. And guess what? It's harvest time. So it's
Hmm.
coming out. It's
Yeah.
coming out. It's
Amen.
already in you. So it's coming out.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's what's so powerful about this is
Hmm.
that you don't understand what's inside of you sometimes until you start giving it out to others.
That's good. That's really deep. So, going forward, looking into the future, what are your future goals for your hairstyling career and your mission to inspire and uplift your other clients or just people in general?
Um, I am just smiling from ear to ear because I am so excited to hear the word future. A lot of people don't know, but I feel like I just been hidden for so long. And I feel like this season is time for me to actually launch into this thing fully with everything that I have.
Mm,
So the future for me is a lot of things that I want to get going off the ground. Um, I'm soon gonna release a hairline, which I'm so excited about. I have products like bonnets. I have wig glue. I have bundles. I have so much that I am about to release. But all of this is in hope that somebody's life will be changed.
mm,
I want to give them a point of contact with me so that they'll have this box, they'll have this product, but they'll know it came from somebody who wants to encourage, wants to uplift, wants to help you to grow to your next level in life.
mm,
So it goes way beyond the physical things, but I do have so many things coming up. I'm also going to be looking for women just like you to share stories. I want to take that client and stylist experience and bring it to the world.
yeah,
I want people to have that. It's kind of like a therapy session when you're getting your hair done.
mm,
I want to bring that to the world. So I want to share the story of women who think they're just regular and ordinary, but your story has so much to give to the world. And
mm.
I want to share those stories with people. So,
I'm gonna stop you right there because I have something great that I think the people want to hear, need to hear, must hear. So, is there a message or a vision you would like to share with those who might be struggling to find positivity in their own life?
mm, that's good. So, if I could give you a one liner or, something to always have in the back of your head is that everything you need is already in you. And I think a lot of times we just don't see ourselves. But my encouragement to you today is already in you. So everything that you want to be, everything that you want to become, it's in you. It's about you going through the process to become that.
Mm.
But so if you're looking for encouragement, if you're looking for uplifting, guess what? It's going to start in you. If you want to do it for somebody else, if you want to do it for the world, guess what? It has to start with you.
Mm.
So everything, all your gifts, all your talents, all this stuff is already in you, girl. It's
Mm.
in you. And it's time to release it.
Wow, it's
Yeah,
already in you.
it's already in you.
We love that. So we're coming down to the end portion, closing out. I probably have two more questions for you.
Okay.
The first one being, what does success look like for you in your hairstyling career and your mission to speak life into others?
So success to me, I think this is a good question because for a long time we ponder success. Is it in houses? Is it in cars? Is it in, how many things you acquire? But I find success to be how much impact that I have on people,
Mm,
whose lives did I change.
that's good.
Um, it means nothing to me if I'm just doing hair, just making money. That is when I'm my worst self.
Mm,
When I am my best self is when I'm able to really impact people. It's when me myself, I experience freedom. Now I give that to other people. And
mm,
I think that is how I can measure success. The amount of people that can say, because of Jasmine and Jazzed Up,
mm.
my life was changed.
Wow.
And that to me is success.
Wow, that's really deep. And I'm going to spin a little because this one just came to me. So this is not one of my closing questions, but I want to know the quote or the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, just came to mind as you were speaking. So, how do you keep yourself full? That way you can pour into others.
That's a great question because I feel like for most of my life, especially when I was in New York, I had a business, I had everything established where I was. But the real thing that wasn't established was me
Mm,
internally.
wow.
The internal Jasmine is what needed the work. And so I presented a face, I presented a person, but internally I was suffering.
Mm,
And so to bring it back, I think that you have to consistently feed yourself good fruit.
mm,
And when I say that, it's feeding yourself the word of God. And if I'm being honest with you, that's where everything comes from for me. It's what am I feeding myself? What am I listening to? What am I hearing? What am I believing?
mm.
Because whatever I agree with, that is what I'll become.
That's true.
And so in this season, I really learned the power of positivity, the word of God that brings life. You
Mm,
have to listen to life. You have to take in life in order for you to breathe life.
mm,
And so what really helps me to stay full to the point where I don't get exhausted. I'm never tired of giving to people. It's because I'm constantly staying with my father and he is giving me words of life.
mm.
And not just that, I'm choosing to believe it.
Amen.
That's
That's
powerful.
deep. All right, finally, because you said a lot, but I know everything wasn't covered. So, is there anything else that you would like to share about your journey or insight that we haven't covered yet?
Hmm. Well, this is one thing I'll say. A lot of my business and the things that I came from are by way of my mom.
Mm,
And when I lost my mother, it was like I was able to now see myself.
mm,
So a lot of my business has to do with the fact that my mom was full of gifts. She was full of talent. She could encourage the world. But when it came to her, she in the inside was so empty. And I said to myself, I never want to be that way. I never want to be that way. So my goal is I don't want to leave this earth full of gifts. And I don't want women to leave this earth full of gifts.
mm,
And so what I want people to understand is this: my mom's story, her stands for healing every root. We have roots in our hair, and that's just symbolic of the roots that's planted in us that go deep. And so, my message to the world is we have to attack this stuff at the root, where it came from. And if my mom was here, and I wish I knew this stuff when she was alive, but you know, it was through her death, through that pain, I was able to see now. You got to go attack these things from the root. So I will forever tell her story. Her story is my mom. Her story is me. Her story is you. And so when we tell these stories, I want the ending to now be I came to this earth and I did everything that I was supposed to do.
That's beautiful. Hit us with a one liner as we closing out. What do you want people to know? How do you want them to get excited and prepared for Jazzed Up? What do you want the people to know?
What do I want the people to know? What I want you to know is this: get ready because your life is about to change forever.
That's deep.